And go.
I'm Sherry.
I'm Jessica.
I'm Sheila.
I'm Hannah.
I'm Chloe.
Stop.
My name is Faith Williams, and this is my persuasive speech. Almost all of you have probably had the chance before. Some of you have probably taken advantage of this chance too. You know that moment when you go to get your license and they ask you the question of whether or not you would like to be an organ donor? Everyone knows it's for a good cause, and you might not think anything bad on it, but it just makes you cringe a little. An organ donor? Me? The thought of your organs being taken out of you and used elsewhere comes into your mind as you then check the no box. And for those of you that said no, you continue on without thinking twice about it. You don't think about it again. And this is why I want to show you the problem with not knowing details on being an organ donor when given the opportunity to become one. And before we finish, I'll be providing one solution to this problem. So many people just don't know enough information on what they are signing up for when becoming an organ donor. This is the majority of the reason why they reject to it. I will inform you all on why you should be an organ donor. Most people don't know details on what being an organ donor really is and what they have to do if they are one. Organ donation is the process of giving an organ, a part of an organ, for the purpose of transplantation into another person. In order for a person to become an organ donor, blood and oxygen must flow through the organs until the time of recovery to ensure viability. So that means that if someone dies in some sort of traumatic accident and they are signed up to be an organ donor, only after doctors have done everything they possibly can to save the patient, they will perform tests to confirm that the brain death has been declared, and then donation will become a possibility. Therefore, it would not make a difference to you if you checked yes as an organ donor. They would only donate your organs if you are completely dead and there's no chance of saving you. So why not save a life if you can? My grandma was in need of a vital organ. Not just anybody can give their organs to anybody. Tests have to be done and a match has to be found. My grandma's life was saved because of some random person who checked yes to being an organ donor. The doctors did everything in their power to try and save this person's life after an accident, and it was not until after they were pronounced dead that their organs eventually made its way to somehow be a match for my grandma. They did an organ transplant on her, and this person saved my grandma's life. My grandma would not still be here with us if it weren't for this organ donor. You could also be the perfect match for someone in need of your help. More people need to realize the effect they could have on other people's lives, even after they are already dead, by simply just becoming an organ donor. The more organ donors this world has, the more lives that can be saved. According to the U.S. government information on organ donation and transplants, organ transplants has become an accepted medical treatment for end-stage organ failure, but only people like us can help make that happen. People of every age can give and receive organ donations. In 2013, a total of 28,954 people received an organ transplant. Statistics show in the U.S. government information that every single day, an average of 79 people receive organ transplants. That's 79 lives being saved every single day. However, an average of 21 people die each day waiting for transplants that can't take place because of the shortage of donated organs. Someone is added to the waiting list for an organ donation every 10 minutes. Another person could have been added to this list as I'm speaking. Right now, statistics show that there are more than enough people waiting for an organ to fill a large football stadium twice over. Can you imagine how many more people that can be saved if we were all organ donors? So what's holding you back? A lot of people are held back because of the idea of being an organ donor, or because of the things they have heard about it before, which brings me to my next point. Most of the contradictions and contraries that cause people to hesitate from being an organ donor are all just myths. They are not true. For instance, some people assume that if you are registered to be an organ donor, the doctors won't work as hard to save your life. This is not true. According to the American Transplant Foundation, the first priority of doctors is to save the patient's life when coming to the hospital. Organ donation isn't even considered or discussed until after death is declared. And once death is declared, I mean, what do you have left to lose? And on top of that, you can help save a life. Another false fact out there is that some people assume that charges of the organ donation will be sent to the organ donor's family. But in reality, costs associated with recovering and processing organs for transplant are never passed on to the donor's family. The only other risks that can be associated with donating organs would be for live donors, and this is because it is a major surgery. Since there aren't any risks associated with signing up to be an organ donor, then this leaves you with no reason not to. With this also being such a safe process because of all the policies that go with it, that's all the more reason in becoming a donor. I'm not saying that it's wrong to not be an organ donor. Obviously, it is not meant for some people, and that's okay. But so many more people would consider it if they knew more about it. They need to understand the truth rather than assume from the myths they hear. A solution to this problem would be to provide an explanation of what becoming an organ donor actually is before selecting yes or no on your ID. Of course, not everyone will or has to read it, but if it just states the facts of what it is you're donating and who it is for, along with showing us that it is only and can only be after death, then so many people would be organ donors. The more that become a donor, the more lives that are saved. That same donor can also help improve up to 50 lives. So, how many lives do you want to affect?